the repair shop today.
The needle gods are looking down on me. I've got it done first time. Yes.
Dizzy delights for Susie and Dom, restoring some rare Victorian road skates.
Oh yes, look at that. Once that's all nickel plated, they are just going to look like they've been there forever.
While Brenton gets to grips with an ornate Middle Eastern tea set.
Comparing it to the original spoon, and apart from the colour, I can't tell the difference. I think we're going to have an identical spoon here.
First, an item with a military pedigree that's been honoured through the generations. Luke Browning from Somerset hopes furniture restorer Will Kirk could make it fit for inspection.
Hello.
All right.
How you doing? Now that looks old. What is this?
This is a standard issue Victorian British Army trunk. It belonged to my great-great-grandfather, Sidney Tuffery, in the late 19th century when he was serving in the army.
Yeah.
His name's on the front, just about.
Oh, cool.
How much do you know about Sidney?
I know he was born in 1865, conscripted in the army at the age of 18, so in the early, 1880s.
Yeah.
Sidney did his time in Ireland and South Africa in the Boer War. And then his son was enlisted in the First World War. It would have been his at some point.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, he was sadly killed. Sidney moved in with my grandparents, lived with my nan, who he was very close to. Is then left to my grandparents. My granddad served in the Second World War, and they would now like to give it to me. I've just been accepted to go to Sandhurst, so it's like 4 generations of military history in our family. So it seems right that it should, get restored.
This has been through so much, I'm really surprised it's actually structurally in one piece.
Yeah, it's done 3 wars, 2 world wars, and 150 odd years. I think it's doing all right.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
How do you want this to look?
So I'd really like a nice sympathetic restoration to it, like repairs to the metalwork and some of the damage to the woodwork. It'd be really nice, I think, to have a replaced lock on the front. Sidney actually lost the key and then just prized it open and snapped it off. The paint on the front, where it says his name and everything, if that could be brought back out, that'd be great.
Now, I'm sure this has a historical importance to the whole family, but what does this mean to you personally?
When I was a kid, I was always that kid that was out playing army, and what I want to go on to do in the army is very personal to me, and I'm really, really close to my grandparents. They live just up the road, and I just love them to bits. And, having grown up listening to my granddad tell me all the stories of his days in the war, that's like looking at a piece of that history.
Yeah.
It will always just mean the world to me.
Well, it's absolutely brilliant to have this in here.
Thank you.
Looks like you've got some work to do, Will.
Yes, it does.
Yes. Thank you, Luke, for bringing this in.
Cheers.
I'll see you soon.
All right, thanks.
All right, take
See
care
ya.
now. Bye-bye.
I've been really inspired by my grandparents, the lives that they've led and who they are as people, the stories that they tell me. And for my nan, that chest, it's a connection she has with her granddad, and that chest represents everything that they mean to me.
I really like this. It has been through so much, so many wars, but it's still pretty much one piece. I think that is partly because there's so much heavy-duty metalwork on here, keeping it all intact. The outside of the chest looks like it could do with a bit of a clean. The metalwork is also really rusty as well, but I'm going to treat this as sort of sympathetic restoration. I'm not going to go at it with a sander and some fresh paint. Before I tackle any of this paintwork and the rusty metal, I think I'm going to take the lock out so I can tackle that damaged woodwork.
Jay says you've got a lock for me to look at.
Yes, I've got a lock from this lovely chest here. It's missing, is it called the keeper? The keep?
Yes, yeah.
Keeper, so ideally, a new one of those, and maybe a key as well for that.
This looks a really good quality lock. I'll see what I can do.
Cheers, Steve.
Next, another precious family heirloom. Belonging to Londoner Roxanna Shahroozi, it provides a special connection to her Iranian roots.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very good. What have you got in there?
This is my great-grandmother's Persian tea set.
It looks like it's silver. Is that right?
It is silver, yeah.
OK. Brenton, if you don't mind joining us.
This item should certainly be Silversmith Brenton West's cup of tea.
Hiya.
Hi, nice to meet you.
And this is a tea set, you said?
That's correct, yeah. It's at least 80 years old, so we don't know how much older it is than that. These are the sort of cups, you'd have glass in there that would, these would hold those.
Yeah.
These are your lovely little teaspoons.
Stirring up, yeah.
And then this would be for a nice piece of cake.
Oh, yes, please. That's some cake.
Persians are renowned for their tea and cakes, kind of like British people. And my great-grandmother had this, and she passed them down to her 4 sons, one of them being my grandfather. And I used to love going to visit my family in Iran.
Right.
And that's the first time I really saw these. I think one of the reasons I fell in love with this, with it being my grandfather's, is he was very much into sort of history and culture. And the design that these are based on is something called Persepolis. And he used to take us there all the time. So I would go and actually see these amazing ruins, and he'd tell us these like amazing stories. And then I'd come and sort of see the designs. As a child, I just really loved seeing the craftsmanship. You appreciate how these were actually made and the amount of time and effort and each little etching that someone's done in that silver.
Right.
You don't see these things in England. You know, you'd have a mug for your tea. You know, so when I would go there and see this, it just felt like there was a magic to it. It was always exciting when the tea came out.
So you remember your grandfather quite well then?
He actually taught me also how to drink tea. He would get a sugar cube, and he would dip it in the tea first to like moisten it, and then he'd put it in his mouth, and he'd hold the sugar cube and like sip his tea.
Right. So how come you've got these now?
My grandfather passed away like about 13, 14 years ago now, and I think my mum cherished these even more, obviously, after that. And then when I got married a couple of years ago, and they were on our Persian ceremony table that we have. And then at the end of the ceremony, my mum said, by the way, you know, you can, the set's like one of my gifts to you guys, you can have that.
That's nice.
That is proper nice. What would you like Brenton to do to it?
There is a spoon missing, so I don't know if there's any way to have another spoon. And one of the pieces is sort of snapped off as well.
Off the cup?
Yeah, off the base. I don't know if there's any way to clean them up and to look as good as they can and last as long as they can.
Why is it important to get it repaired now?
My husband and I are going to be moving into our own home soon, and I'd really like for this to be in a better condition so that we can use it, and for my children to come and be in awe of.
Yeah, you can tell them the stories.
Exactly. I've got the tea, just nothing really nice to serve it in.
Yeah. Brenton, what do you reckon?
I think I can make them look really nice for you.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing these in.
Thanks, guys. See you soon.
You take care.
Bye.
Bye.
All my time growing up, I remember it being shiny and sparkly and used. However, when my mum inherited it, it became more of an artefact in a display cabinet, and I would really love to sort of bring it back to life and pass it on to my children and continue that legacy, I guess.
I'm just looking at Roxanna's Persian tea set here, and it's the most amazing, intricate detail on the teacup holders. I've got to find some glass cups to go in there. The broken cup, I have to solder a piece onto the bottom of that. We've only got 5 spoons, and Roxanna said it'd be nice if we had 6. So I'm going to try and make one of those. As usual with all of the jobs that I do that come in, I like to clean them up first. I like to polish first. I'm going to make a start now on this tray and see what it looks like polished up.
On the other side of the barn, Will's working out how the 1880s military chest might polish up.
Well, the main bit of damage to the chest is the area where the lock used to be. It's been busted open and it's split out lots of wood. I think this is made of pine, and I found a lovely bit of old pine here, so I'm going to cut this up on the bandsaw to make a new piece for the chest. I can use this almost as a template that I can draw around, and that line is the line that I want to cut away to remove all that waste wood, and I can glue in this new piece. That is a really nice, snug fit. Well, that's all clamped up now. I'm going to leave that to dry, and once it has, then I can start cleaning.
I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just see if I've got a key amongst my collection of keys that will fit this and make this lock work, because that'll save me a lot of trouble. Hopefully there will be one key amongst all of them that will fit. I've collected these keys through the years, and I've built up this collection now that is just so useful. Let's start off with these first. I know roughly what sort of shape I'm looking for. Love these old keys. You wonder what a key like that must have opened up, because that's a really ancient key. That's really near, so I'll put that there to give me a reference. That's another very near key. In fact, it is just locking it. So it's almost there, which is great news. I'm trying to get this lock open, and it's causing me a bit of difficulty. This screw probably hasn't been undone since the lock was made, so probably really tight. This was the very first tool I ever bought. I think I was about 9 or 10. I was so proud of that, and I still got it. Yeah, it just isn't going to move at all. It's been welded together by rust. I really haven't got any other alternative but just to cut the screw off. It's a little bit more work than I thought. Oh my goodness. Absolutely full of insects. That's incredible. So there's absolutely no way that this would work properly with all of this in here. It's just like, almost like papier-mâché. I wonder where in the world these insects started nesting here. There's masses of it.
This chest has cleaned back really nicely, and it's primed, ready for polishing and painting. I'm going to apply a really thin coat of shellac polish now. Now that that surface is wet, you can see the lovely black. And as I go over the writing, you'll see the lettering starting to pop out as well. It's absolutely wonderful. I'm going to apply this to the rest of the chest, and once I've done that, then I can get on with the colour matching.
With the lock now free of its mysterious creepy crawlies, Steve can turn to crafting a replacement keeper to hold the bolt in place.
I've now made the plate. I just need now to turn a round piece on the end of this bar, which will turn into one of these bits that go on here. Great, that's shaped up beautifully. That's lovely, it works so well, it's very satisfying.
Well, I've done all the colouring in on all the dark areas and the metalwork. I'm finally getting on to the fiddly work, and that is the writing on the front. Now I need to be really careful with this. It's the first thing that you're going to see, so I need to make sure that I stay within the lines and keep it nice and crisp.
The barn's next visitor is Graham Stanley from Yorkshire, with an item holding happy memories of a carefree youth. He hopes Dominic Chinea's metalwork skills and the leather expertise of Susie Fletcher can help revive them.
Hello there.
Hi there.
You okay?
I'm good, thank you.
What have you brought for us?
Well, here we are. They're in a bit of a state.
Goodness me.
Okay.
This looks
can we take 'em out?
interesting.
Of course, please.
I'm straight in there.
What on earth? I've honestly got no idea.
Right, well, they're called Ritter road skates,
They're not roller skates.
and they're roller skates, yes.
How do you use them? I'm just looking
Right,
at them.
OK, well, I mean, I used old football boots,
Okay.
and you attach the football boot on with these
I mean, to there.
with these levers.
Sure,
Yeah, and
yeah.
That hooks into the heel. These go up the leg. These had straps round so that they go just below the knee.
Right.
And off you go.
Invented in 1760, these precursors to the roller skate became quite the thing in the late 19th century, with skating previously restricted to the ice. And with Ritter's skates clocking up more than 15 miles an hour on the flat, they'd have provided a fun, if risky, alternative to the bicycle.
How did you get them?
They belonged to my grandfather, and I gather that he bought them at an auction in sort of early 1900s.
Oh, okay.
And about the age of 14, I was a bit of a roller skater at the time.
Yeah.
I said, you know, let me have a go on them.
So 14 years old.
Yes.
Daredevil, clearly.
Well, my parents and I lived at the bottom of the village. My grandparents lived at the top of the village.
On a hill, is it? The
Well,
village?
slight hill. And my mother was very concerned about me because I could go much faster on these than I could on the skates that my friends were wearing.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
So what happened then after them being used quite regularly by the sounds of it?
Yes.
How did they end up
Well, one of
looking?
the slats broke, and my father did repair it, but it didn't last very long. And the next time it broke, I think that was when the time on them finished.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. And so they've just, well, they've deteriorated, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And very embarrassing so, to be honest. Yeah.
It's not nice seeing them like this.
No, it isn't. Because my grandfather, you know, he was very much my father figure because it was the war. And
okay.
my father was fighting in France. So my mother and I went to live with my grandparents. I called him Pop. Pop. Yes. He was the gentlest of men and the kindest of men and the nicest of men. Yeah. We did all sorts of things together and I loved him dearly. And if I saw them back in their original state, it would remind me every day of what a wonderful man he was to me.
We need to get them looking smart.
Oh,
then,
I
don't we?
think so, yes.
That would be wonderful.
I think we're both itching to get started
Oh,
on
you
it.
are?
Yeah,
Well,
definitely.
I'm absolutely delighted.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Thank
Thank you.
All right,
Bye.
you take
See
care.
you later.
My grandfather is never far from my thoughts. If they could wave a magic wand and restore them to what they once looked like when they were manufactured, then that would be a very, very special thing.
These brilliant little skates are going to look fantastic once I've finished. I can't wait. They're going to need some work. Obviously, I'm going to need Susie to make me some new leather straps. Hopefully, Susie has got enough information here that she'll be able to make me a pair that look just as the originals would have. The woodwork, they do have these, well, should have, these 4 splints. These are what actually hold your leg in place when you're hurtling down the hills. I'm going to make a couple of new ones of those. So at this stage, it's worryingly for myself. I'm not entirely sure which process I'm going to use to strip this rust off. They're quite fragile and I need to be really, really careful. So all I can do really is start to take them apart and just see how it goes.
Looking decidedly shinier on Brenton's workbench is the Persian tea set, passed down through 3 generations of one family.
Well, that's lots of elbow grease gone into that. All the hard work has paid off, I think.
He's made some minor fixes, but now comes the tricky one, crafting a replica of the missing teaspoon with all its intricate detail.
So I'm going to make this spoon in 2 pieces. I'm going to cast this piece here, and this part here I'm going to fabricate from a sheet of silver. So the first bit I'm going to make is the two figures, which I'm going to cast in a special casting sand. This is very, very fine sand that's mixed with oil, and the oil keeps it in position. So I've started to push the sand in here and it stays, it doesn't fall out. So you can get really, really fine detail because it's such fine sand. So I now need to put sand on top of it. However, if I just put sand straight on top of this, it'll get stuck together. So I need to put a barrier. So I'm going to put some white powder, which is plaster. You can use chalk, any fine, dusty sort of substance. Some more sand. Now, I hope I can separate these and have a mould which will work. I've got to get this out of here. It's working. I'll take this outside and we'll pour some hot metal into it and see what happens. This is silver, it's 850 odd degrees, and I'm going to pour it into the mould now. So let's have a look and see what that looks like. Wow, that's come out really nicely. That's a copy of the handle of the spoon. I've just got to let that cool down a bit because that's still really hot. And then I can start to clean that up, make the rest of the spoon and solder the two halves together. I filed the casting and I'm comparing it to the original spoon that Roxanna brought in, and apart from the colour, I can't tell the difference. I've just got to make the spoon part and solder this on, and I think we're going to have an identical spoon here.
To shape this part to match the others, Brenton has crafted something special.
I've got a piece of cherry from my garden and I scooped a spoon shape out of it, which hopefully will help to support the edges as I bash it in the middle. That looks quite good to me, so I'm now going to start smoothing that out with a planishing hammer in my little vise here. One spoon soldered up, just got to polish that up and it'll look just like the others.
On Will's workbench, the restoration of the military chest is almost complete.
Lovely. That looks just the part. Steve has made the keeper from scratch. These are slightly tricky to fit because if it's slightly out and not aligned, the lid won't shut properly. Now, there's a really handy trick when it comes to lining these things up. You can use some tape to lightly tack the keeper onto the inside of the lid. And you shut the lid, push down a bit. And when you open it up, perfect. Now, that is exactly the position that this needs to be screwed in, and this will fit like a glove.
When it arrived at the barn, Corporal Sidney Tuffery's wooden chest was in a sorry state after serving 3 generations of soldiers. Now it's been restored. Sidney's great-great-grandson and Sandhurst recruit Luke has returned to give it its first inspection.
Today's a really important day for us as a family to get the chest back. I can't wait to see how it's turned out. I've been looking forward to this day for a long time. I'm really, really excited.
There he is. Hey there, Luke.
Hi, Will.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
Hello, Luke. I'm Steve.
Hiya. Nice to meet you.
Since it's been out of your possession, have you thought more about the chest?
I have. I'm really looking forward to seeing how it's come out. It's like my most prized possession. I love it to bits.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I think we should have a look.
Oh, man. Oh, man. That. Oh, I don't even know what to say. That is just. I didn't think I could just be any more proud of it. How did you do it? I mean, it's just like the finish on the top. You can properly read what it says on the front. The man himself like meant the world to my grandparents and still got some sort of connection to him, you know? So yeah, I can't wait to show them that. They're gonna be chuffed. Just the more I'm looking at it, the more like detail coming out of it. It's just incredible. What a job. I mean, that's just amazing.
Well, if you have a look inside,
So just
open up.
new key.
That'd be Steve.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, it's a good, strong lock now. Would you like to try it?
Yeah, why not? There you go.
Now, are you going to take this to Sandhurst with you?
If they let me have it, it's coming. Oh, thank you so much.
I'm so pleased. Your reaction to this, it's just heartwarming, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Gonna take it over.
Right, I'll get the door for you.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers. Even in my head, how I pictured it was going to come out, that it's just looks so much better than I ever dreamt it could. Just seems like it's ready to continue its legacy. I know my grandparents are going to have the exact same thought. They're going to just be over the moon with how it's come out.
In the outdoor workshop, Dom still has a way to go with the Victorian skates. He's finished dismantling them, and now he can start planning how to safely remove the rust.
There's evidence here that they were painted white. So that's the newest layer of paint, that's on the top. I need to kind of dig back through. There's bits of flaky black paint. Now I can see underneath, the first original layer was nickel. This is really good news because that means I can now safely sandblast these, remove all of these layers of paint over the top, and then get them re-nickel plated. And they are going to look beautiful. I can't wait.
Well, I've got these straps that Dom's taken off the road skates. It's really important that we keep things as close to the original as possible whenever we're working on one of these unusual jobs. In order to get these 2 straps made, I need to start cutting some leather, and thankfully, I've got the leather exactly to match this.
I've got all of the pieces of the road skates sandblasted and stripped. All those layers of paint have now gone, and thankfully all the rust has gone and left me with some nice solid pieces of metal. And even better than that, the blasting process has revealed an absolute gem. Here it's got the Ritter patent, which is brilliant, and actually it's even still got the address, the Road Skate Company, 271 Oxford Street, London. How cool is that? I've actually managed to find some pictures of another pair of these road skates, and there's a part that's missing. There should be 2 little bars that hold the front of the shoe in place. It should be fairly straightforward to make. I'm just going to bend them around up and over so they've got that little hook over the top and bolt them in place. Oh yes, look at that. I love it when a plan comes together. Once that's all nickel plated, they are just going to look like they've been there forever.
The fun's going to begin with the sewing of these straps because they're very tiny stitches and you want to make sure that your thread is not overly thick, but it has to be strong. This is challenge number one, is threading these tiny needles. I used to work for a lovely master who used to have me thread his needles, and I used to laugh at him. He said, one day you will have this problem too. And he was absolutely right. The needle gods are looking down on me. I've got it done first time. Yes.
Now all of the steel parts of the skates have gone off to be nickel plated. I'm trying to make the best use of time and getting on with these wheels. It's a really good sign that they're spinning, but that sounds horrible. It's like metal on metal grinding sound. But the good news is they're designed to be serviced, and that will sound a lot better. The ball bearings even don't look too bad. It's just very dry. I'll give everything a really good thorough clean, polish everything back up, and it just needs a bit of a grease in there.
So I've got 11 stitches to the inch, and they originally used white thread, so I've done the same. But the trouble with white thread on brown leather is it will show up if I do any bad stitches. So this is going to be quite a test. Brilliant, that's all the stitching done. It's nice and strong. I just need to pop some holes in and they'll be ready to give back to Dom.
Brenton is on course for the end of his project, the Persian tea set. But his cup doesn't runneth over quite yet.
I've got some new glasses to put with these Persian teacup holders. Unfortunately, all the glasses are the same size and all the cup holders are different size. So some of them slip straight in beautifully and some don't fit in at all. There's maybe an 8mm difference. So I'm gonna have to grind this larger piece away from the bottom of some of these glasses to get them to go into their holders. That fits really nicely now. I've got a couple of other ones that I need to grind down, and then this will be ready to go back to Roxanna.
For Roxanna, this intricate tea set evokes happy memories of childhood visits to her grandparents in Iran. But years of use had taken a toll. Her wish is for it to be a centrepiece at her own family gatherings.
I'm hoping that the tea set looks similar to what it may have looked like when it was first made. I haven't used it myself since I was really little, so looking forward to seeing how it looks, and hopefully I can use it and pass it on as well.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
Hi, Roxanna.
Hi. I'm so excited.
I was just about to ask you that.
Yeah.
Why are you excited?
Just so excited to see what it looks like. I just can't wait to hopefully be able to use it.
I just want to show it to you, really. You ready for this?
Oh, as ready as I'll ever be.
Okay.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh. I didn't think I'd cry. That was so funny. Wow. Oh my God. Oh wow, thank you so much. Oh my God, you've got teacups in there. That's so amazing. Because you can really, really see the detail of like each etching on it now.
Have a little look in there.
Wow. And the question is, which one's the new spoon?
That's the challenge.
No, I can't tell. No, I really couldn't tell.
That's the idea.
That's amazing.
So what's the family going to think of it now?
One of the first people I'm going to tell is my grandmother in Iran, and I think she's just going to be blown away. Definitely going to invite my parents over and make some really nice Iranian tea and get some cakes and just host, as my culture has taught me to. Yeah.
So seeing as you're talking about tea, do you want to have a cup of tea? Because we've got some tea
I'd
brewed.
love some. Very cool teapot.
And the way your grandfather used to do it.
I was just going to say, he used to just dip it in to get it wet, and then...
And he drinks the tea through the sugar. Wow.
Lovely. That is so cool. I did not think I'd be having a cup of tea in this today. It's so cool. It's just nostalgic, just connecting to like something that I held as a child and I drank from as a child, and now I can drink from it again.
Yeah.
And hopefully my children will, well, I'm going to impart it into them whether they like it or not, but I'm sure hopefully they will love it just as much as I do.
Yeah.
And want to carry it on.
Yeah.
I just can't thank you enough.
This young man
Thank
here.
you so, so, so much.
It's been great.
Unbelievable.
We're going to get wrapped up and then bring it out to you. Is that all right?
Excellent. Thank you so much, guys.
No problem.
Thanks.
You take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
It was really nice to be able to drink tea in the same way that my grandfather used to do it. It's just, yeah, it just all brought so many fond memories back. I'm just, yeah, super, just touched, really touched.
Dom is on a roll with the restoration of the 19th century road skates. His last major task is crafting replacements for the all-important supports for the wearer's legs.
I've got the shape roughly sanded into my little wooden upright splints. They're looking good. Time to drill the holes in the bottom.
How you doing, Dom?
Jay, you okay?
Very good.
How's it going? God, what's in the box?
I've got straps that Susie's done.
Oh, amazing. Oh, let me have a look, let me have a look.
Those are nice, aren't they?
These are just incredible.
Yeah?
I couldn't be happier.
All right. Well, I want to make you even more happier.
Oh, stop it. Why?
Look what I've got back from the nickel platers. Look at that. Is that all right?
Absolutely perfect. So that nickel just gives such a nice coating, a nice finish.
Yeah.
Doesn't it look brilliant?
Yeah, it does.
Leave that with me and I'll get these all together.
That's you.
Amazing. Thanks, Jay. There we go. The road skates ready for action.
Having provided hours of perilous fun for Graham as a teenager, these charming Victorian contraptions fell into disrepair, unfit to honour the memory of his beloved grandfather, Pop. 250 miles away in Yorkshire, at the home of Graham and wife Janet, a special delivery has arrived.
Every time I looked at the skates, I always thought of my grandfather. There are such fond memories of spending all the time with him, and the skates are one of those memories.
You ready then?
The moment, the moment. Oh,
goodness me.
they're stunning. Absolutely stunning. Aren't they? And boots as well. Oh, goodness gracious. It's really a miracle, isn't it?
We're just totally dilapidated. Look at this beautiful
I
wood.
know. I think this is just as they came out of the factory.
Just look at that. That's
Look at
amazing.
that, yeah. Over 100 years old.
And look at the stitch in it. It's
Yeah,
so...
I know. They're just incredible, aren't they? Don't they just look absolutely wonderful?
Yeah, it's great.
I'm so proud of them. So proud of them. It reminds me of a wonderful man who lived a long life and who looked after me very well and introduced me to many, many things. He would have been overwhelmed by these, very similar to the way I am as well.
Oh, that's nice. That's lovely. A fab.
I just wish I was 15 again.
And you could have a ride.
And I'd give it a go.